hello there, welcome to the Circuit de Catalunya in Spain, just north of Barcelona I believe, and this is round 5 of my F1 2012 career in Season 2. I am Nussbuds. This is my qualifying lap, and we are in Q3 as you might be able to tell from there being 10 cars on the track, and my objective is to get into 8th place. Now this is a favourite track of mine actually, so hopefully I should get into a decent qualifying position. Car trying to slide out though, never a good sign. Ideally you shouldn't have to lift up there, but I think I had to, otherwise I would have gone off wide. So I may have cost myself a couple of tenths, maybe, yes, it's possible. But there you go, my first sector time is a 23 something, which I just missed that. Obviously nothing to compare it to yet, because everyone is behind me this time. I got out first and in front of them, so no one's in my way to screw up my lap, which is cool. I wish they would spread themselves out a little bit more, these AI cars, because surely it's not doing their laps any good, but never mind. Helps me. So second sector time's a 55-second dead almost, just 2,000th of a second. Not looking too bad so far. I really haven't made mistakes on this lap, which fills me full of confidence that I'm actually going to be near the front of the grid. It'll be a much more of an improvement than Bahrain was last time out, which was horrible for me. And there you go, 123.8. This is professional difficulty, so it might not be too hard to get to the top. And I included this bit, as this is what happened. See Hamilton there in second place. 1 minute to go, and boom! Just goes ahead. So, shit. I was like that. So, he actually beat me to pole by 6/600ths of a second. So I actually line up second, but still on the front row of the grid, which is cool. Top 9 separated by 7/10ths of a second, and then a Toro Rosso in 10th there. So lights come on, 17 laps of the Circuit de Catalunya, and off we go. Pretty good start. Hamilton didn't get off the line as good as I did, so I'm going to pile the pressure on before the first corner, get close to him, and don't know why he's done that, gone off wide. He must have outbraked himself or something, but it does mean I managed to get the inside line and inherit the lead. He's hanging on to second at the moment, but Schumacher's come out on top in that battle. He's actually moved up from where he was on the grid up into second place, so the two Mercedes could end up in a very good position here. This is a very good start for the team. Could be some very valuable points for the Constructors fight if Schumacher can stay on top of Hamilton's advances. Sounds almost romantic, doesn't it? But, whatevs. Yeah, Schumacher isn't letting me go that easily, so I'll try and keep it on the track. Try and get outside of his DRS zone once lap 3 comes around. Car did try to slide out there, if any of you heard the screeching of the tyres, but just held on. There's enough grip at the start of the race at least for me to actually carry some speed around the corner. But as I say, this is one of my favourite tracks. I like this long straight, I like the medium speed corners, the slow speed corners, and a couple of high speed corners as well. It's got a mix of everything basically. So yeah, it's a really nice track. Shame they've messed up the end though. Before the last corner they put that little crappy chicane in to stop people going off and ramming into the barriers at such a high speed, but you know, what can you do? Obviously safety is a priority, but they've ruined a really nice racetrack by doing so. But it's still one of my favourite tracks at least. I did do quite well on this track in F1 2011, and I do seem to be doing quite well in 2012. I don't think that I am doing quite as good, but that's because 2011 had the cars that were using the double diffusers. I think it was double diffusers. Yeah, exhaust blown diffusers, or something like that. There's a diffuser of some bloody sort, which meant the lap times were quicker anyway. Plus I was using setups as well. I mean, like proper setups. At this stage of the season I'm not using setups, I'm just seeing how it goes. But by the time Canada comes along, I think Canada onwards, I start tweaking things a little bit, so I can maybe get to the front a bit more often, especially on tracks where I'm not that good. So I need something to like give me a little bit of an edge, or at least stay up there in the podium. So it's looking good so far. DRS has been activated. Schumacher is just about a second behind me, so I've got to make sure I really floor it coming out of the last corner to make sure he doesn't get too much of a DRS on me. But yeah, I don't think much happens at the moment unless something goes wrong, like sliding off the track or something or other. I don't think much happens until maybe the pit stops. But I could be wrong. I have been wrong in the past. I cannot remember sometimes what I've done in the races. Obviously I try and make these races as boring as possible by trying to win them, but that can't be helped sometimes. But the way this Mercedes is driving, by eating its tyres so early, I'm going to have to keep people behind me at some point during the race, usually near to the end, to like the first pit stop, well, the only pit stop, and the end of the race where the tyres go off. Now I had to lift off a little bit here, which cost me a bit of ground. Schumacher is now pressuring me a little bit from behind, but should be okay. I had to lift off because I knew that line wasn't going to be very good into that corner, so otherwise I would have gone off wide. But hey ho, it happens. So there's a couple of rumours, Formula 1 gossip going on. Apparently Mercedes want to replace Brawn. I don't know why they'd want to do that, but still, good luck to them if they do. Because Ross Brawn is an absolute legend. He's helped quite a few drivers. I think he was instrumental in Schumacher's victories when he was at Ferrari. Obviously he won with Jensen in 2009 as well, and whatever else he's done that I can't think of off the top of my head. So he knows what he's doing, so I don't necessarily think replacing him would be a great idea, but let's see who he gets replaced by. Apparently it's going to be like Paddy Lowe from McLaren, who's their technical director at the moment, so you never know. See, that's what I mean by going wide a little bit. That can cost you a little bit of time. Hamilton's got past Schumacher though, which is not great, because the McLaren is actually pretty quick. I have noticed this, and it will become apparent over the next few races that they are bloody quick. They're like the Red Bulls are in real life. It's certainly pile the pressure on, because this year looks like it's going to turn out into a fight between Mercedes and McLaren, which is great news for Mercedes anyway, seeing as they supply McLaren's engines. So yeah, I expect the people at the top of Mercedes are kind of happy. They'd be happier if me and Schumi could win the constructors, but that's it's going to be a hard task. Let's see what Hamilton does. I expect he's probably within my DRS zone, so yeah, 9/10 behind. As you can see, I've got wear on the front right and rear. No, front left and rear right tyres. The front right tyre seems to not be wearing at all, which is quite weird. But never mind. Oh, it is kind of wearing a little bit, but not as much as all the other ones. But yes, I am still ahead, which is amazing. I haven't really made a mistake yet. Nothing too major. Got a bit wide there, but that's nothing too bad. But yeah, let's see how this pit stop goes. I think I'm into the pits this lap. See, that's how bad I am at the moment. I've already forgotten. Because I'm trying to look at these rumours and things. Because I want to quickly talk about them. Yeah, definitely pit stop. Lock up at the front left there. Which is not great. Because obviously your in lap to the pits needs to be relatively quick. And then there's a slide. So I've messed that one up. Pretty much. No, it wasn't. It's kind of that's kind of down to a bit of tyre wear, but mostly that was driver error. Now Schumacher should go right past me. I don't know. Yeah, Hamilton's gone right past. Schumacher's gone past. Maldonado is doing well. He's up in 4th. Nice to see the Williams in a good position. Let's see how this pit stop goes. And that's much better than Bahrain as well, because that's a 3-second pit stop. Quite happy with that, definitely. So I've dropped down to 9th, switching the fuel mixture up to rich, just to do a good outlap. Hopefully I'll get around the first corner without too much trouble. Yep. A bit... Got to be careful though, you can slide out with these cold tyres. Take the first corners gingerly, and yes, I had to lift off again because I was drifting out wide again. Obviously, yeah, I've got to be really careful on these on new tyres, especially when for some reason they're really cold, even though they've just come out of tyre blankets. I don't know, I never understood that. I don't know how cold it is compared to the actual tyres that have been racing for. Well, I don't know how cold the tyres get before they get onto the car compared to the ones that have been in the tyre warners. And oh, I don't know what am I saying? Right, I don't know the difference between how cold the tyres get coming out of the tyre warmers and waiting to go on the car, rather than the ones that have already been in the tyre warmers and already attached to the car, and when they come out for qualifying and all that. I don't know how much of a difference that actually would make. Nor do I get how they can be that cold anyway. But still, whatever. It's not like they've been sitting outside for a while. Sure, they'd have had a little bit of grip, but as you do see in the real world, you can get a bit caught out, as I nearly did then. You touch the edge, and if you push it a little bit too far, you find that there's not enough grip to do what you wanted to do, especially when you've just come off options as well, which have a lot more grip. Now I've got that rambling out of the way, I can get back to what I maybe was going to talk about. But with all that's going on there, Hamilton has managed to come out in front of us.
We think the car behind is running on full revs. He's trying to close the gap.
Now not Hamilton. Now Maldonado is in 3rd now, so he's doing all right. I don't think Schumacher had a very good stop, that's for sure, because Maldonado got in front of him. But it looks like Schumi's in 4th, as far as I can see on the map. Of course, your teammate being the yellow colour dot. But now, hopefully we catch up to Hamilton. We might be able to have DRS here. Let's have a look. Crossing the line. Yeah, we've got a DRS. See if we can make a move into the first corner. Bit of curves. I don't know why I don't use more curves, but no. I'm just being patient. I'm probably saving the curves for other parts of the track so I can like keep up to him. And off again, I go wide. I need to get that line. I need to get that line sorted into that corner, because sometimes, you know, I do that and then end up losing them. But we've still got the rich, fuel-rich mixture setting. Hamilton's on slightly colder tyres. I think they should be warming up now. So it won't take long for him to get up to speed again and run away if we don't catch him. Because at the moment we're in a bit of a situation where the AI has a lot more speed towards the end of the race than I do. Which is an issue I do address later on in the season. Hopefully, the research and development on this car will actually do a lot better than the real-world development. So I don't want to end up in a situation by the end of the season losing the championship and struggling to score any points. So, but I shouldn't do. See if we can get on the inside. Bit of wheel bashing there, but we just made it stick. Let's see if we can hold on to this. So, what else has been going on? I know I've been talking recently about, well, I've been touching on the subject of who's getting the race seats at Force India and Marussia and Caterham. So I've been looking around sites, and the official Formula 1 site as well has got a little article on it. It's got who could fill the final 2013 race seats. Now they've listed a couple of people. They've listed several people. One of which, well, I'll go through the list quickly. They've got Bruno Senna, Vitaly Petrov, Jules Bianchi, Heimi Alguersuari, Adrian Sutil, Heikki Kovalainen, Kamui Kobayashi, Timo Glock, who is now ruled out of it, I think, Guido van der Garde, Narain Kartikeyan, Luis Razia, David Valsecki. Out of those choices, I think I'd like to see Bruno Senna get another chance. Petrov, Alguersuari, and Kamui Kobayashi. Those would be my picks, but that is down to what I've seen of them anyway. Alguersuari has been out, was out the whole of 2012, but he was the Pirelli test driver, so he actually was doing a few things driving Formula 1 cars anyway. And he wants to get back on the grid, and I think he's alright. He's an alright bloke, so I think you should see him back on the grid. Yeah, I want to see Senna given another chance, because I think he was just forced out by the fact that they wanted to put Bottas in the car anyway, regardless of how well Senna did. And to be fair, he done pretty well for someone who had 10 years of his racing career cut short by the death of his uncle Ayrton, or Ayrton, however you want to say it, where he wasn't allowed to race practically by his family for like 10 years. So that's a huge chunk of racing experience that he could have had wiped out. So I think he's doing quite well for someone who hasn't had as much experience as other people. Petrov hasn't really had much of a chance to prove himself. He did make a lot of mistakes in 2010, I think, but he did perform well as well. I don't think Caterham's really a place where he should be. I think he should be like in midfield, at least. Who's the other one? Kamui Kobayashi, the F1. I mean, Kamui is a very popular driver, and I'd love to see him back on the grid. I don't want to see him leave. And that third place that he got in his home country in Japan last year, that was amazing. And so yeah, those are the four I'd like to see back on the grid, fill in those slots. Interesting though, Paul di Resta's not on this list. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I would have thought he would have been on the list, but still. That's another one actually. I suppose I'd like to see Paul di Resta. I don't know. I don't think much of Adrian Sutil. I don't know why. He's good. Pretty good. But, nah, I don't know how I feel about him. I mean, Bianchi, Vandergaard, Razzia and Valsecchia, I haven't really seen them. I don't really know anything about them, to be honest, so I don't know how they would be in a Formula 1 car. So if they do get seats, they might be in the... They would probably be the ones in Marussia or the catering seats. The rain card's Kane. Well, I'd be surprised if he comes back. I mean, if he does, it may be before it's India. Obviously with the Indian connections. And he has good solid backing from sponsors in his homeland, so you never know. We don't really know what Carter Kane is capable of, considering he's been in HRT pretty much all of his career. So that could be a gamble for a midfield team. But you never know, he might do well. So it's an interesting one. Interesting one, I don't really know. There's no real indication who's going to get these seats yet. And they're only going to reveal their cars next week. So that'd be an interesting one to keep an eye on over the coming week. But yeah, apart from that, well, Sebastian Buemi's not in the running because he's going to stay as reserve for Red Bull. He's going to be the reserve driver if Vettel and Webber need cover, and Hamilton just goes straight past the DRS Open. There's nothing much I could do about that, but there is a back marker in the way. And look at that, look how close that is to Hamilton. It's lucky we didn't take each other off then, and obviously, again, I didn't learn my lesson and went off wide and had to lift off. Now Peake's out the way and Hamilton has been released, so now I've got to pass him properly rather than with the help of back marker. But now comes the funny bit of the race where the AI usually switch their fuel mixes up to rich and start running away from me. So unless I can keep on his tail, which is looking a bit difficult at the moment, considering he's actually putting a gap already. That's what the gap is, 9/10, so I've got to be careful I don't come out of the range. This could be an interesting fight in the last couple of laps. I say last races, I mean last laps. Because there's only about 3 more laps to go after this. I've got to make sure I keep this clean. And that chicane can be tricky, it can throw your car off balance quite easily. So we've got DRS, let's see if we can overtake him into the first corner. Going to use a lot more of our KERS than usual here. And I'm on my limiter already, so I can't do much more. So there's no point in using my KERS if I'm on the limiter. And I've done it again, even worse this time. Trouble is, I keep turning in too early. If I went out a bit wider and then came in, it would have had a better angle, then I could have kept my foot on the gas. And I would have been a bit closer up behind him now. Because the problem is I'm now 1.1 seconds behind him, and that's not good enough for DRS. They do make a bit of time up in Sector 2 as well over me, which is annoying. But in Sector 3 I'm not too shabby, but I don't think I'm going to make up enough time to get behind him again. See, 1.7 seconds, and I'm cutting corners as I go because I'm getting a little bit edgy that I'm not going to catch up to him ever again. You can see I'm a bit too far behind him. I've got to try and get closer to him before the detection line, which is just coming up now, but that's not good enough. I don't think that was within a second. I think he's a bit too far away, and no, just outside by 0.4 of a second or so, which is annoying, and I have to switch it down to standard mix now because my fuel is now at optimal level, and I do not trust Codemasters to actually warn me properly of how much fuel I have left in the car. I'm always aware of that optimal sign, because you can get like the last to the last sector and it will suddenly go. And say your car has not got any fuel in it, and you start doing the juddery thing, and the engine stops producing enough power to actually keep you ahead of someone, and then you're done for. Which really wouldn't be helpful, considering that pretty much 90% of the field is behind me, led by Maldonado. Schumacher looks like he's fallen down to 5th, looks like, unless that's a back marker. Can't quite tell where he is at the moment, but at least we'll win the teammate challenge in this race. Schumacher definitely going to be on my back for this season, which is quite cool. I like a challenge, of course. Oh, Vettel's in 4th. So yeah, Schumacher's only 5th, it looks like. But he does set the fastest lap. And as you can see, that's about a second faster than me. So this is the dodgy part of the race where I lose very much lose my pace. And as you can see, Hamilton is a speck in the distance now. If I catch up to him now, it'd be a miracle. My only hope now is that he gets severely slowed down by the back markers. But yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But as I say, I do address the issue of me being off the pace in a few races' time. And what I do is actually tweak the setup a little bit. It doesn't help with my tyre wear. I think a couple of occasions my setup causes me for my tyres to wear faster, but I can go faster on them. I think it's a stability thing and how my wheels are set up, like toe angles and all that jazz. But yeah, as I come around the final corner, unfortunately we didn't win the race. Lewis Hamilton won, but we did come home in 2nd, which is a good haul of points. Maldonado finished in 3rd there, and Schumacher finished in 5th. But still, good haul of points. 18 points is nothing to be sniffed at, and a British 1-2.
2nd place, brilliant driving, brilliant driving.
Yeah, Schumacher in 5th, Grosjean at 6th, Button 7th, Alonso 8th, Mark Webber, Kimi Raikkonen, Sergio Perez, Jean-Eric Vergne. Mark Webber had a decent race, so did Raikkonen. Fernando had a crap race because he went backwards down the field. Vettel started in 9th, ended up 4th. So a bit of a switch around, but no change at the top, 1 and 2. Let's see who else. Everyone finished the race this time as well, which is pretty cool. Massa went backwards as well, started 13th, finished 17th. But no real surprises going on there. As I think we're going to move on to the constructors in a second. Here we are. Not the constructors, the drivers' championship. But as you can see at the top, Jenson Button is leading Lewis Hamilton by 1 point, and I am 2 points behind Lewis Hamilton. And Schumacher's about 11 behind me. Yep, that sounds about right. So it's very, very tight, the top 3. Top 3 separated by 3 points. So if the season continues as it is, it's going to be a tight one this year. And let's see if I can win it. You never know. Crazier things have happened. But yeah, there's the rest of the standings. Nothing to report really. Nothing great. That's very interesting. But the McLarens being on such good form, they're up the top of the Constructors' Championship with 141 points. Mercedes following close behind, 14 points behind, 127. There's Ferrari, Lotus, Red Bull, Williams, Sauber, Caterham, horror. So Force India down in 10th, bad season for them. The game has something against Force India, I don't know what it is, but in 2011 and 2012 they're down the bottom, becoming backmarker teams. So here we go, a little celebration. I'm actually happy, which is nice to see. And all that remains is to say goodbye, and I'll see you in Monaco for the next round. See you then.